very interesting.
We'll get into it later.
Yeah.
Let's get this show going.
Get the show on the road.
This is where you want me to come in. Hey guys, this is Omar Colum, your host with the most. Thank you for coming to the Most Show and tuning in. I'm here with my host, Mike Latchin, with his hand up in the air. Thanks for that very much. And today we're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about getting paid, invoices, when to send them, how to send them, what's going on, right?
I like this topic, because this can apply to a lot of people in our industry, Omar. Now, do you have any disclaimers?
So, let me start with one disclaimer. I'm sorry. Thanks for bringing that up. Listen, for anybody who's got soft skin out there, you're not going to like this, but, I'm a firm believer that most of the time it's on you. You send that invoice late.
Okay, so send your invoices on time. It's very important.
On time. I hate to read it. Send them on time. What is the issue that you're sending it late? How is it not an easy process? Why is it so difficult?
People, there's a word called procrastination. I'm very familiar with it myself. So if I do it, I'm sure other people do it, but maybe that's not the main reason. Now, what are some other reasons why you wouldn't get paid?
So let's look at it on the other side, right? On the AV side.
If AV is the talk.
If you're going directly to that client now, the end client or the production company, they may not have gotten paid yet. Plain and simple. Oh. Maybe you didn't get paid because they didn't get paid yet. Or maybe you're not getting paid because you did a shitty-ass job. Let's be serious. Not that you shouldn't get paid. You should still get paid something. But, hey, maybe you needed to go in there and negotiate something because you didn't do so good.
Okay. Saying that's not the case. Some of these other companies, there's a rumor mill out there that they can actually put your money into, say, some type of interest account that can accrue over, say, a period of 60 to 90 days, maybe even, and that they won't pay you on that time because they're actually trying to make a little extra buck once they get paid from the client. What is that true or false? To what level?
I don't know, but as a business owner, that is a feasible thing to do. There is interest savings accounts that you can open up as a business,
kind of messed
so you can make money on it. So if you think about this on the business level, right? These guys are doing tens of thousands of dollars into an account. Why not throw into a savings account? I hit my 30-day mark. I get a little extra money on that money I just put in there, and then I just pay you after the fact.
I don't like it.
Yeah, or they do what some other companies have done, right? They tell you, you gotta pick up your check.
Ooh,
right. That's the one that's a kicker sometimes because
that one hurts.
It was easy.
That one really hurts. Now, is it possible that these companies just have horrible accounting departments?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, like their people are hired, they get paid to do this job. They show up at 8 a.m. and they just literally cannot accomplish their tasks.
They all have horrible accounting departments, or they don't have a real
horrible.
One. They have a fake accounting department. It's just an email that all the invoices get sent to that someone manages that isn't in accounting. That's a possibility, right?
But it's going to
it's going to John over there. Some Joe Blow is just like, okay, whatever.
No, okay, all right. What about this robbing Paul to pay Peter? You hear that a lot. What? Give me the premise of that.
So robbing Paul to pay Peter is a simple concept. It's talked about a lot in the sales side. But robbing Paul to pay Peter is just that, for whatever reason, XYZ company has already used all the funds and profits from that show that you were on, and now they were taking profits from another show to pay you for your time.
Is that commonplace? Because it sounds like they're not managing their money properly if they're doing that.
So I think each company is at a different point. We can't judge.
I'm judging.
Company. we shouldn't. Fair enough. Well, we shouldn't judge companies year 20 versus companies year 1, right?
Okay, brand new companies, they're trying to get their beak wet, so to speak, and they're not
right.
figuring out how to do things right.
Right. They may not know the best ways to manage their money, and a lot of guys, it's hard to say, hey, I'm going to separate my finances of my budget for labor and the budget for gear in 2 separate accounts so that I can make sure I pay my guys on it. They're not doing that year 1. Year 1, you're saying, I made this much profits. This is my expenses, right? You're just doing big numbers. Bigger companies are probably doing, labor is one bank account and gears another bank account, and those get separated.
But they can misappropriate their funds. They're putting rims on their 26-foot box truck instead.
Correct.
That's appropriate. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, short of the horrible accounting departments, how clear do you need to be when you start off with a client about being getting paid, what your rate is, a half day, a full day? I mean, a lot of the stuff you would think gets talked about, but really, unless it's discussed beforehand, you could get blindsided when you send an invoice in, and all of a sudden the client is saying, we didn't discuss this, therefore we're going to do it my way. And if you don't like that, then,
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that's something that should be discussed ahead of time, not after the fact, because after the fact, you're not only going to get pushback on it, but that paycheck you thought you're getting may not be the same check anymore, right?
And then you're pissed, but they're also like, we do not care about how you feel about this. And a lot of companies are very blunt and upcoming, and they'll tell you about that. I think it's not the right thing to do. Now, that kind of segues to another topic about being right or wrong. We've both been on job sites where people come in and maybe you have a job that legitimately will take 4 hours. But there's certain people in the crew that know that if they stretch it a little bit more than that 4 hours, they can maybe make it to a full day, which in our industry would be most companies, anything over 5.5 hours. What are the moral implications of that? Is that something right to do? And if you were, say, head of that business,
No.
would you frown upon it?
No. The question
If you
is
knew
no. I mean,
about
for me, it's no. For everybody, it's different, right? But again, that
Yes.
goes back to year 1 versus year 10, year 20. If you're year 1, listen, you might want to, you don't know what you're doing. You're going to look like you're milking the clock. But I'm going to tell you, as the guy on the other end, the guy, the producer, the technical director, the guy that's paying the bill, right? I'm going to see you working slow, and I'm not gonna call you next time because I'm like, I don't want this guy who takes 3 hours to build a screen. It takes 40 minutes. What you do want to do is work hard and fast so that guy says, hey, I need this guy's number directly so I can call him for more stuff because I know that I'm going to get him to work for me well. And on top of that, that client's more likely to hook you up, right? So
Okay. Yeah.
do you not have any clients that say, hey, come in for a 10-hour day, and then you end up doing an 8-hour call, but you still get paid for 10, and it's not a big deal? Or vice versa, what about a 5-hour call? You come in and you still get paid for a 10-hour day, without even having to talk about it. They just hooked it up with you because they know, like, hey, you're a good worker, and when I need you, you help me out.
Okay, you brought up one specific point about going straight to the client. And some people in our industry would say that's a big no-no. You're working for, let's say, a labor company, and there's a production company in between that and the end client. Now, the PM on the show for the production company likes you, but they're not hiring you directly. At what point do you say, you know what, it's okay if I work for this client directly because they like me? This labor company, production company, whatever it may be, they don't necessarily need me, and I'm going to get paid more. Now, who are you pissing off, and is it worth it?
So again, that's a branding issue, right? For you, that's a branding issue for who you are as a person. Because then, if you do that constantly, or if you do it all the time, you're gonna look like, yo, this guy's always just bouncing around using my I don't know how to word it, using my sources to gain for himself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but it's a double-edged sword because now it's like, hey, I don't want to hire Joe Blow anymore because he's gonna just talk to this other guy, to my client directly, and make me look bad.
But now that guy's got the hookup, and it's kind of a human expected thing to do, but.
It
should be frowned upon, and it should. I don't think.
I don't think it should be frowned upon.
I frown.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think it's a per basis because sometimes it just happens naturally.
I'm frowning right now.
I have a client who I worked for as a freelancer for a very long time, who now I work with directly, and is one of my biggest clients. And it was a natural conversion from working with labor company X to working with him full time. And it wasn't like he poached or stole me. He literally, I say, let me get your number. I'd like to book you more often.
Did he ask the labor company for permission?
That's between, but that's not you. That's between him and the labor company.
Yeah, but I feel like most of the time, either way, it's an important thing to touch upon.
I think it's a gray area. How about that?
It's so gray.
It's definitely a gray area.
I would say it's towards the darker area because it's not talked about enough.
It's not, and the thing is, you want to get there, right? You want to go from labor company to production company to your own.
That's the name of the game, Started from the bottom.
And now we're here. There we go. Okay.
In terms of that, and another thing, there's a lot of people out there you'll book them, or they will get booked, let's say, 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out for a single day show, maybe a full day. Then something else comes along where it's a multi-day, aka more money type of event.
Okay, I see where we're going with this.
Now, it's happened to everyone, especially when you're newer in the industry. What does that say to the client that, say, is getting canceled on? And if it starts to happen more than once, where do you draw the line saying, listen, this just does not fly?
So, and again, I want to say I see the pros and cons to both of this. I get that as a freelancer, you want to make more money, so you want to take the bigger gig with the more pay. On the other end, though, the producer side or the end client side, your reputation is going to start to fall because now I can't rely on you. It doesn't matter if you call me ahead of time. Thanks for being honest with me. Thanks for telling me. I will call you another time. But if this happens 3 times, 4 times, I'm just not going to call you because you're always going to sell me out for somebody else. Versus if you constantly stay to your word, I'm more likely to book you no matter what the scenario is. And I'm more likely to work harder to book you because I know that, hey, if I book Omar Coloma or if I book Mike, I know they're going to be there no matter what. I don't have to worry about.
But I think what 90% of the time what happens is people cancel short gigs for long gigs, and it's just not right.
And that affects your brand. You're chasing the dollar, and you're not building your reputation. Correct.
I know you don't do that, Omar, personally, but it happens.
And it has. To me, it's happened. and I've had to call, and I've always recommended somebody either my skill set or better, because it does happen. I'm not saying it doesn't, but most of my clients know if I book, 99% of the time I'm going to be there unless it's a family emergency, and even then I'll like communicate extensively with you, or something comes up, and again I will communicate extensively, and I will try to find a replacement or anything I can to help make that easier for you to replace. I
got you. Now, getting back to this getting solutions to getting paid. Now, I have a personal thing where I'm about 180 days overdue with a certain client.
Okay.
I've done a lot of stuff. I've called them, I've emailed them, I've PayPal'd them, sent carrier pigeons. I've done a lot of different things. No responses. I do not know the next step to take. I would never work for this company again.
Okay.
I don't care. I did a great job, by the way. It was nothing to do with performance issue.
Okay.
What's my next step legally in terms of, going after my money?
Okay. So the easy answer, if you're a business, is to write it off as a loss, right? That's the simple, quick, and easy.
If you're not a business,
If you're not a business, and you've already said, I think, that you sent emails, you called, you did none of that? I saw you shaking your head, but
no, I did it. I did all that.
You did all that, then some. And it's been 120 days, we said?
180 days. This is back in February. Days. 7 months ago, so 180 days overdue.
So my dude, that money's not coming.
Damn, I had hope until this talk. Oh
but no, let's see. So this goes back to you, right? You, as an independent freelancer or as a contractor, whatever, however you want to call yourself, or label yourself for this industry, you need to be responsible of your own self. And if you're living paycheck to paycheck, hey, I'm sorry, we should have another talk and how to work that. How to use QuickBooks, how to use invoicing, how to make a spreadsheet to account for your finances. But if you're learning to get to that point, right? Like, so now we want to get to that level, right? And I know you're a numbers guy, so you're like, dude, I do spreadsheets, 10
left
seconds.
And right, but not everyone does spreadsheets, QuickBooks,
right.
all that. They send in, an email in the body, and they'll say, I work 10 hours. Yes. So.
And you know what? I've been there. I was there. I grew better from there, and I moved to the next topic. But I think that that particular scenario is just a hard one, man. I mean, you've done everything you can.
But I'm screwed.
Besides, I mean, I'm not highly recommending this, but you could go to their office if it's close enough, right?
Okay. If it's out of state, that's another thing. But this one might be. But again, I wouldn't recommend to myself even to do that.
Right.
Because then you're showing up, and it's just like I feel like not confronting people face to face is
right.
That's the way to go. Don't.
I think on paper though, you've done everything you can, right?
Okay.
You've done the emails, you've done the calls. I would just continue to do it. Maybe just, eat shit if you can. Just do an automatic reminder every fucking week.
Yeah.
Blow them up like a creditor.
So busy. I know. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna take that into account, and I'm gonna try to do the best I can. I'm gonna get back to you on that.
Hold on. You know what you could do though? You could send an email saying, "Hey, can we work something out?" And offer. I know you don't want to hear this.
I can show you the email list on this computer right now. It is.
Listen, I know you don't want to hear this, but think of a businessman, right? You either get no money and write it off if you're a business, or you do the second thing, which no one wants to do, but you can sometimes do. Send an email saying, "Hey, I will lower my rate if you could pay me today."
Oh my God, yeah.
Because now it's late, right? Just at least give me the half today, and I'll lower it. If
anything, I should tack on interest and really
you should.
hit
I totally agree with that.
But if they're not paying me now, why would they ever pay me more? I'm gonna get back to you on that, and we're gonna hope there's gonna be a better outcome next time we speak.
Stay tuned on the Mode Show. Yeah, no, that'll be a good topic for another time, though.
No, so
to give a better answer. I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Omar, next thing, I have a little lightning round question where I'm going to ask you a few questions. Things that are coming quick. If you want a little bit more time, let me know. Put your hand up.
Okay.
But it's just basic things. Some are AV related. Some are just kind of, a little bit of fun. I will answer to
my best of my ability.
I would hope you do.
Just going to wing it.
Yeah, it's just, listen, that's life, right? Okay. Yep. So, and some of these are coming from personal experience, especially the second one where, it's amazing having some things. And a lot of them are road related, which we do a lot of traveling, you and I both, and a bunch of our peers. So if you're on let's say a setup day, and you have a really good crew all the way from technicians to the stagehands to everyone, but you have like a person in charge, whether it's a project manager, technical director, say that guy is lost.
Right.
But the crew is really good. Would you rather have it that way, or the leader, is really good, but your crew is lost?
I'd rather, for me personally, I'd rather have a good leader and a mediocre crew, because a good leader will train those guys.
Okay.
And bring
And
them
what
up to his
about
level.
for, let's say, a show day where you have a show caller not calling the right shots?
I'd want the complete opposite. I want a badass crew, because the show caller can,
At least the show will go on.
At least
and
the
look
show will
fine.
go on. Yes.
He'll be calling the wrong cues, and you'll be like, "Nah, I know not to do
You put
this."
3 key guys in the right roles, your show will go no matter
Do
what.
you listen if you know the cue is wrong? That's another thing. That's not a quick question. But if the cue is wrong and you know it shouldn't be something that's switching, say he's calling for a different take and you're running a gig, do you go with what he is saying or she? Or do you do with what's right?
Again, I think if, for me personally, you go with what's right. Unless the client is very, what's the word I'm looking for? Not mediocre, someone who's always on top of you.
You can tell if these show callers know what they're doing.
Yeah, if someone's a micromanager.
It's very simple to tell if they've done it before, if it's their first rodeo,
Correct.
Of course.
Sometimes it's better you just take over. And you'll feel that out in the shows. With each person is different. You'll feel it out.
Great. So next one is I was just in Colorado Springs, and I stayed in this place with an incredible shower.
Ooh.
Like, I'm talking next level.
Okay.
It had the fountain from a head like a waterfall.
Did you have
it
a
had
view
the other one on
outside?
the wall. You had a view. You could do hot, cold. I was in heaven. I didn't even show up. I was in shower all day. So the bed, though, the bed was also awesome. But if you could have a good bed and a mediocre shower, or a great shower and a mediocre bed, and I know that sounds silly, but this is an important thing.
Great shower, mediocre bed.
Really?
Instant. I take long showers, man. I enjoy the shower. The shower's my sanctuary.
Oh, okay.
It's my quiet place.
You are speaking to the course here.
Yeah, it's my quiet place.
All right, excellent. Laser projector or lamp projector?
Laser all the way, 100%. Yep.
And
I started with lamps. I started with Barcos. Those are my bread and butter for a long time. But yeah, no, never again. I mean, if I have to, I'll do it because it's my job.
I mean, they're still out there.
Yeah, it's my job, exactly. If I got to, okay, I'll do it.
You see the Flex 20s all over the place.
I know, and
right?
they're great. They're great projectors. All the Christies are great. Barcos are great. Panasonics are great. But the lasers, they just have better contrast, better lights, better colors, better
turn
everything.
On quick.
They turn on quick, dude. It's on.
It's on.
There's this
no heat up.
15-minute warm up, and let it run for a little bit. 30 minutes so it warms up for the lenses.
I love it.
No, just run.
Okay, excellent. Local, all things equal, local work or travel work?
All things equal as money, correct?
As money.
Okay,
correct.
so all things equal, travel.
Really?
I feel
you don't like sleeping in your own bed, huh?
No. Well, the thing is, I
mean,
make
of course
more.
you do.
Well, so listen. So if I'm in Miami and I drive down to a show, I got to pay for parking. That's an expense. Gas is an expense.
Possibly food if they're not.
Most likely
you.
food, right? If we're in that area, if you're in New York or Chicago, might be a little bit different because you could just walk somewhere. But yeah, it's an expense. If I travel out of state, my tickets are paid for, my hotel's paid for, my luggage is paid for, I'm paid to be out there. My expenses of meals are paid for, or a percentage of them are paid for. So it's a money maker. It's not a loss.
I understand. I like personally sleep in my own bed, but I do travel quite a bit, like you and plenty of people we are friends with. Okay, that's an interesting one. I'd agree to disagree on that one, but we all have our own personal preferences.
I might need to buy your bed. My bed's nice, but it's not that nice. I want to stay in town.
Hey, I got the comfort foam. All right, it's very important. This is a personal one. PlayStation or Xbox?
Xbox. What the PlayStation? Bro, I'm off this show.
Really? Listen. That's a
Xbox.
That's where I draw the line, Omar. It's okay.
For all you non-Xbox people, though, stay tuned in, please.
No, that's a personal preference. I like it. So getting back to getting paid on time.
Wait, do you play Halo? You ever played Halo?
No, that's Xbox, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I still have PlayStation 3. And
what do you play? What's legendary on PlayStation?
Battlefield, Call of Duty,
I play that on
Auto,
Xbox.
NBA,
Xbox,
2K, Madden.
Xbox. It's on Xbox.
Damn. Okay, I'm stumped.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm stumped, Omar.
Nothing.
You did it again.
Guys don't got nothing.
Listen, pulling everything full circle and talking about getting paid on time and what to do if you're not. The main thing I think is working with trustworthy vendors. Most of the companies that I think both of us work for, amongst others, is not first timers. You're working with companies that you have solidified a relationship with, and that basically when you're going to get paid and how things are going to come around to you. So,
yes.
But if you're working with brand new people, which I do every now and then, you don't know if they're trustworthy. You could ask around.
You can ask around. That's what I would do first, always.
Obviously, sending your invoice and everything correctly.
On time.
Job numbers, everything they need. If they have a specific request or even a template they give you, which a company a while ago did that.
Some companies do that, yep. But you should have your own. You should have your own method, your own tools, right? Like, for example, I use QuickBooks. I have my own invoice that I created. with the help of a lot of friends, because I don't know a lot about Expo. But I have an invoice that I created, and I use that invoice, and I use either that if I have to, or I use QuickBooks, and it's all through my phone. It's very quick and easy, so that there isn't this delay. And day per day, I add, to work this day, these many hours here, and then everything gets populated automatically. My client was in there. I've already had a communication with his client, so I know what's going on.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, a lot of people can maybe pick up some of the things you're talking about and maybe get more prepared and organized around what you're throwing out at them. So that's quite interesting. As far as getting paid on time and what to do if you're not, it all comes down to just being better at your own skills, not procrastinating, and just making sure things come full circle.
Yeah, manage your money, learn your expenses, learn your ins and outs, learn your cash flow, really.
Cash flow is easier said than done. Even if you are bringing in a decent amount and you're making a decent living, cash flow, it's not something they teach in school.
It's not, and I think it's
I
horrible.
never took a class in high school that was telling you how to do taxes, or
I didn't take a class in high school or
send
college.
an invoice, or we can't change that. That's not what this talk is about. But it is something that has to be taught, and you do have to learn that if you want to be able to get paid and manage your finances properly. So that's super important as well. Any other major points that you think are important right now to mention, Omar? I got one more point. I just want to bring up, for the guys transitioning right now that are listening to tuning into us or listening into us. If you're going from that labor side to that direct side, I know we didn't talk about that too much in this podcast, but if you're going from that labor side where they're doing everything for you, you need to come to the realization like now, like as soon as you're done with this podcast. Not yesterday.
Yeah, that now that you're going direct, you need to have your W-9s ready. You need to have your invoices ready. You need to have your whatever way you're filing yourself for taxes ready, because no one's doing it for you anymore. You're on your own, sort of. I hate to say it that way, but you're on your own. Ask your buddies who are doing it, because they'll help you out. Trust me. It's very easy to get up and going, but you need to have the stuff ready. If not, you're going to be the one suffering, not the other company. Okay,
very interesting, very interesting. And that kind of wraps me up to the final point of learning. I didn't get to the spot where I did without learning. You did it, and the people we work with as well. We also didn't do any formal education, short of maybe some classes industry specific. But besides that, there was no formal education. It is around the people. It is about the people who surround yourself with. If I didn't know some of the people I started off with in this industry, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. It's not so much of what you know, it's who you know.
Yep, I agree with that.
If I 100%. Know every single switcher and lighting console and audio console out there, but I'm not getting calls from companies to give me work, it doesn't matter. You can be really good at what you do, but if no one's calling you to work as a freelancer, you're still SOL. Anything else goes. I think that was really great how you explain that. Getting paid on time, what to do if you're not paid on time. You got to work with trustworthy vendors. If you're not sending your invoice on time, you're not getting paid on time. This is the one thing that I think needs to be drilled into the ground, because a lot of the time people just don't understand the fact that, listen, these accounting departments, whether or not they have their stuff together, they're getting invoices from everywhere. If you don't got your name in the right place, if you don't have the show, if they have a job number they included, these people have enough stuff to deal with, and they're working with other vendors and other companies. They need to have all this information correctly. And I've done that type of work before, where I can tell you it's very hard to sort through it. An email without a subject line is your worst enemy. Never, ever send an email without a subject line when you're sending an invoice. I totally agree with that. If you do, good luck about getting paid. But
yeah, then you're guessing, like, what the hell does this go to, man?
No subject. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good point you touch on too. That one more thing I'd add before we wrap this up for the night is that I think another thing you guys need to kind of realize is that when you're freelancing, when you're independent, you need to be able to absorb some of these industry norms, I would say, right? And I hate to say it that way, because it shouldn't be like that, right?
Yeah.
It should be 2 weeks or 30 days. It shouldn't be anything longer than that. But every company's different, and the easy answer, again, is to either, do it as a loss, or, hey, just drop the client because they're not paying you on time. Drop them. But like I'm saying, easier said than done, right? But what I want to get to, just to wrap this up for the night, what I want to get to is that you need to be the responsible one. You need to run yourself as a business. You need to save up money for those scenarios. You need to have money in your back pocket to say, hey, I can hold off a little bit on this. I got money to cover myself. You shouldn't be living paycheck to paycheck. If you are, you're not running your business right.
Or you're just not working for the right people. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But between a combination of those two, I think those are both valid points. Absolutely. That's really great, Omar. I'm glad we had this talk. I do want to bring up AV Educate and all the great work that they're doing.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. You know, you're a pioneer in our industry, and learning starts where you want it to.
Yep.
So if you want to learn, you got to make those steps. It's not just going to fall into your lap.
Totally agree with
You can't play with a board in a ballroom one day and expect to be a lighting designer the next day.
Yep. It takes
You
time.
you don't have to do formal training. I took 0 formal training for the skills that I've accrued over the last 5 years. But a resource like AV Educate, I could have used 5 years ago. So I wish it was there. But now it is. And I think on a later podcast, that's something we'll delve into a little bit more and see what ways you can explore learning and bringing your talents and abilities to the next level.
So yeah, first off, thanks for me. I really appreciate that little plug-in right there for AV Educate. That's great, and you nailed it. That's exactly what I started for. When I did this, 10 years ago now that I've been doing this, 12 years now, I started AV Educate because I didn't have that kind of source that I wanted to have, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to create it off of what I already have, and hopefully other people will help me build this up together. And I've gotten great feedback on it, great following.
I've heard great things from it, even out of state. So I think you've done a great job there. I'd like to thank you for giving me a great talk today, and I look forward to another one another time.
Yes, awesome. So thanks everybody for tuning in to the Mo Show. I'm really glad you guys came in and tuned in with us. I hope you guys learned a lot. Hope today was the day you learned something new. Tune in next time to hear us talk about how to make money as a freelancer.